Welcome back to Math Maintenance. Today we are continuing our work with geometry in talking about lines of symmetry. So a line of symmetry is simply a line that is drawn where the things on both sides of the line are identical. When you draw a line of symmetry, you can think about folding it on those center lines or that line of symmetry, and if both sides would match up exactly, then you know you found a line of symmetry. So take, for example, this equilateral triangle I drew. Doesn't look perfectly equilateral, but that's what I was trying to draw. So we can imagine that all the sides are equal length and all the angles are equal measure. I can draw a line of symmetry down the middle of this triangle like this. And if I think about folding it on that line, this corner would land on this corner, this edge would land perfectly on this edge. So I know an equilateral triangle has at least one line of symmetry. Because it's equilateral, I could think about doing that same thing from any of the points, folding it across that line, and this corner would land on this corner, or if I fold it along this line, that vertex would land on that vertex. So an equilateral triangle actually has 3 lines of symmetry. Now what I can't do, let me redraw my triangle quick. Maybe I can get it even a little bit. That doesn't look much better equilateral. But what I can't do is say something like this, right? Because if I fold this triangle on that line, this top point is going to end up somewhere down here, like that. So the top and the bottom aren't the same in that case. So an equilateral triangle has 3 lines of symmetry, but they have to go through one of the vertices across the opposite side. Now a square has a couple bonus lines of symmetry. So I could divide a square across the middle like this and have the top half fold down onto the bottom. I could divide it vertically like this and have the left half fold over onto the right. I could also divide it from one vertex down to the other and have this triangle land onto this triangle. Or I could fold it on a diagonal like this and have this triangle land on the triangle down below. A square, therefore, has 4 lines of symmetry that it can be folded on, creating 8 different sections, theoretically, but you would only be looking at one of these at a time. Now, what I can't do with a square, if I draw a little guy down below here, would be to divide it somewhere like this, right? If I divide it not across the center line, then when I fold one part onto the other, or when I fold this part up above, it's not going to land exactly on top. So in creating lines of vertices, you can always think about, if I fold this, will it land on something that looks exactly like it? A circle has infinite lines of symmetry because as long as I go through the center point from one edge to another, I've created a line of symmetry, and I could fold the top down onto the bottom. I can pick any 2 points across from each other, go through the center point, and that line of symmetry is created. This kind of symmetry happens everywhere in a circle. So I've drawn 4 possible, but I could truly go and draw it from any side through that center, and I would always get a line of symmetry. The work to do in your packet today is to draw a little bit more complex pictures with lines of symmetry. They've given you grid paper to work on to help you do that work. What's going to happen is that it's going to show you something like, use a better marker so you can see a little better. something like this, half of a butterfly. And then it's going to show you where the line of symmetry is. And your job is to complete that shape. Now, because you have grid paper, what you should be able to do is kind of take one square at a time and think, okay, if this is the shape in this square, if I flip it across that line, it would look like that. And then I go to the next square. If this is the shape in that square, when I flip it across that line, it looks like that. And I can go just one square at a time, thinking about if I flip it across that line, what is it going to look like? Checking, I'm 1, 2, 3 boxes from the line of symmetry, so I should be 1, 2, 3 boxes going in the opposite direction. By going square by square, you should be able to think about what it looks like when you go across the line of symmetry. You have 2 of those to practice with today. One of them is this bucket, and the other one is this ice cream cone. So trying to draw the other half of those pictures. Your digital activity today is a website to go practice lines of symmetry on. Your manipulative activity today is practicing those multiplication flashcards, trying to get as good at them as you can. Remember, knowing your multiplication facts makes everything else come a little bit easier. Good luck.